Coverage of next week's NFL draft. Today we have Peter Schrager joining NFL Live. He's coming at us from NFL Network. Peter, we're so glad to have you. Yesterday was your birthday. You turned 25, and now today you get to celebrate with us, right?
25. I don't know about that.
I love it. I love it. I love celebrating with you guys. Fans of the show and fans of Dan Orlovsky's wonderful wardrobe. Let's rock.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't be on television without you, Schrager, so you can mock my wardrobe as I mock that, what you call hair on the top of your head.
Speaking of mocks, Schrager just released his mock draft 2.0 yesterday. By the way, here's a look at his top 10 picks, which includes Mac Jones going to the 49ers at pick 3. The Cardinals trading up to the 7th spot for a wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. We like that. We were kind of talking about that here the other day. The Panthers, this is really interesting, adding another quarterback to their roster, selecting Justin Fields at 8 overall. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But listen, Peter, your mock, at least at the top, lines up with all the reporting, including Mac Jones to San Francisco. What are you hearing about the 49ers' plans for their draft at that number 3 spot?
Yeah, look, you guys have two of the best in Schefter and Mort right out of the gates telling you, hey, Mac Jones to San Francisco is a possibility. And that's everything I've been hearing also. Although he is not the sure thing. I believe it could be Mac Jones, but it could also still be Trey Lance. You know, they all went up to North Dakota earlier this week. They visited with him. Trey Lance's parents were there. I could tell you, individuals from the 49ers got to speak with Trey Lance's parents. They are falling in love with that kid as well.
Ooh.
This one is going to be interesting because the Mac Jones thing is this. 77% as far as a passer goes, the best of all time. 4,500 yards, led the nation in passing yards, had pretty much a flawless college football season. You could tell me that you don't know what he can end up being, but if he is at the best of the best, the absolute ceiling for him would be the most pinpoint accuracy passer ever, and that's Drew Brees. I think that's his absolute best, right? But the basement is probably Kirk Cousins, and I think that's a pretty good starting point as well for what they have in San Francisco with 2 great offensive tackles and all those weapons and a quarterback who can groom him the first year with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it makes a lot of sense for Mac Jones. But if Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch want to take the big swing, Trey Lance could be the guy at number 3.
I also think a part of that factors into this is that Kyle Shanahan has probably immeasurable confidence in himself as a play caller. He's like, wait, all I need is a guy, right, it's deserved arrogance or kind of earned arrogance. All I need is a guy to throw to the person that I'm going to get open on a consistent basis. And so there's part of me that thinks Kyle knows he's one of the best in the NFL, and he just needs a guy to kind of operate it rather than I need a person to go above the X's and O's.
Well, let's dial Schrager's mock back up here one more time because I mentioned it before when we looked at it. Really interesting to me is that at 8th spot, he's got the Panthers taking quarterback Justin Fields. Dan, this stuck out to you too. They've obviously they traded for Sam Darnold, so they got a QB there, but Schrager's going in with the Fields pick there at 8. What do you think, Dan?
He doesn't know my past with Sam Darnold and the love for having. Okay,
two-part
question, Schrags. One, have you heard anything about when Sam went to Carolina? Was there any form of assurance from the organization to his camp that they weren't going to at least go move up for a quarterback? And then the second part would be, is Carolina for you quarterback no matter who it is, or is there a very specific quarterback, this time being Justin Fields, that would be the only option for them?
Great questions, Dan. And I'll start off with this. I think if Penei Sewell's on the board at 8, that's the pick for Carolina.
Okay.
I think that is the pick if he's there. I don't see him being there. Here's what I say with the Darnold thing. First of all, everyone said, he's going to get an extension. He hasn't gotten an extension. They're going to pick up his 5th-year option based on what I'm hearing. They haven't done that yet either. So let's wait for the draft. What the Darnold trade did was gave them optionality. And what is optionality? It means they could still make a choice. If they did all the work on these quarterbacks, and this is what they had to give up, that's not a lot, guys. 6th, 2nd, and a 4th to get Sam Darnold, and he's not making any money. So this is still low investment as far as cost goes. My last point is this. Matthew Stafford, they went aggressively after, offering 1st-round picks, the 8th overall pick. They went huge after Stafford. Didn't get him. They wanted Deshaun Watson to at least have that conversation with the Texans. Didn't get him. And obviously that stuff is a totally different story right now. So if Matt Stafford was their 3rd choice as far as veteran quarterbacks go, they're not paying him a ton, and they gave up next to nothing to get him, and they actually like Justin Fields a lot in the pre-draft process. I don't think anything that Darnold is doing can absolutely hold them back. I know Matt Rule and I know Scott Fitterer. These guys are not shy. If they love Justin Fields and he's there, I could see them taking it.
They're aggressive, right?
So, but you think it's a Justin Fields thing rather than any quarterback thing?
I think it's a Justin Fields thing, but I think it gets really interesting if Lance or Mac Jones is on the board also. I just don't think because they got Darnold, it's a slam dunk that Carolina wouldn't go and do. Look, they spent the entire season doing the work on the quarterbacks. Darnold kind of fell in their laps. They traded him for next to nothing, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have the 34th pick. They still, to me, I don't think just because you have Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold is fine, and he's 23 years old, it's still a very viable young quarterback. But just because you have Sam Darnold does not mean you can't still draft a quarterback of your own.
Yeah, and Peter, to your point, maybe Sam Darnold, we're kind of looking at this the wrong way, thinking he's going to be the starter and they're going to build around him. Maybe he's an insurance policy as we bring Mel back in here. Mel, you're hearing what Peter's got to say about this. The Panthers taking Fields at 8, or maybe even a Lance or a Mac Jones falling all the way there, although I think that could be unlikely to Peter's point. What do you think, Mel?
I'll say this, the great Peter Schrager made some phenomenal points, and
Yeah,
it makes
he
you
did.
think about win-wins. I like win-wins. I had Troy Aikman, I have Steve Walsh. Played it out. Troy Aikman won it. We traded to Steve Walsh to New Orleans. Win-wins I love in life, and I think this could be that if you bring in a quarterback. But Sam's not necessarily the man. It is give Sam a fighting chance. The Jets did. Now you have Joe Brady. So I think what you're looking at here is Devontae Smith to help out. Remember, those two receivers, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, free to go after this coming season. So you might have one left, and that would be a reason to bring in that third guy right now. And Devontae would be elevated to 2 or 1. Or, as Peter said, Penei Sewell's there. He's your automatic left tackle. They think maybe Little or Irving, but if Sewell's there, you take him. I just think, do you help Sam Darnold, something the Jets didn't do enough of? Now you have Joe Brady. Or do you get a guy to compete and maybe say, okay, we're going to have 2 guys, and we hope with the 1 winner puts us above where we need to be. So this is a fascinating part of this draft at pick number 8, as pick number 5 is with the Bengals. I think it's the most intriguing draft I've seen in my 43 years of doing this.
Woo, Mel. Peter, last word.
Yeah, last words are, like Mel said, I think Sewell is a no-brainer, and I think Adam Schefter reported it yesterday. Carolina also is in the position. They don't have a ton of picks in this draft. If they don't love any of the things, they can trade back, and then someone else can trade up and get Fields or Lance if they fall at 8.
The one thing I would say, too, you guys, it also feels like if you're the Patriots or if you're one of these quarterback-needy teams, you might need to get above 7 to get one to guys. You just don't, you can't think that they're going to fall all the way to 15.
There's a lot of pressure points, 8. It feels like. After this 10-minute segment or 8-minute segment, there feels like there's a lot of pressure points in this draft.
We're so excited. Okay, we're going to continue our Ask Mel thing that we're doing here today. So, Peter, it's your turn. You get to ask Mel Kiper Jr. a question. What do you got?
All right, I grew up idolizing Mel Kiper, wanting to do what Mel Kiper does. I also have a son who is 4.5 years old named Mel. One of the only 4.5-year-olds in the world named Mel. Not named after you, Mel Kiper, but I don't know. Maybe there was some Freudian influence there with my respect for your work. So I will ask you, Mel Kiper, who is the greatest Mel in the history of the world, besides my son and you, my friend?
Peter, you're shocking me with that. I thought it might have been like Mel Allen. You think I remember Mel Owens, linebacker out of Michigan, who I scouted, ended up with the Los Angeles Rams, had a heck of a career. So I was a big Mel Owens fan. Mel Allen, there's a lot going on here. But man, Peter, that's amazing. I thought it'd be Todd Schrager, maybe. After Todd McShay, I didn't expect it to be Mel. But hey,
love Todd, love Todd, Mel Schrager, and I'll tell you what. Mel Kiper, it is an honor to be on with you. This is a cool career highlight for me.
I love it, you guys.
Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate it,
Mel
pal.
Gibson?
Mel Gibson, come on. We can all agree it's been a Mel of a show. We want to thank NFL Network for lending us Peter Schrager for the last 20 minutes. You can see more of Peter on their coverage of the NFL Draft next Thursday through Saturday. Of course, you can catch wire-to-wire coverage of the draft right here on ESPN and ABC. Thanks so much, Peter Schrager, for being with us today. We appreciate you.
Later, Shrakes.
This is awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, we're not